Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long boys blues, 1975. YouTubers on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long boys blues, 1975.
Welcome to another ZX Spectrum versus the Commodore 64 video. In this game I'm going to pit the Empire Strikes Back on both machines. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of a boring history lesson here, and also I do apologise about the background noise, but I'll let you on a little secret here. I film most of my videos when I get home from work, which means it's about 6:15 in the morning, and that's the start of rush hour, so yeah. Anyway, so the Empire Strikes Back is obviously based on the second Star Wars movie, and some would argue the best, and was released in the arcades in 1985, which is weird because it's 2 years after Return of the Jedi, the movie. Now obviously it's a follow-up and a vector graphics game to the hugely successful original Star Wars arcade game by Atari that was released in 1983, which ironically was around about the time that Return of the Jedi came out. Now, I didn't know this back in the day as a kid, and finding a cabinet back in the day as a kid, well, I never saw one, so that might be the case because of what I'm about to say next. But this was actually an upgrade kit that they sent to owners of the original machine, along with marquees for the cabinet, to convert it from Star Wars into Empire. And I believe there was a bit of a hissy fit by most arcade owners at the time, because you apparently, I don't know how much this is true, could not reverse the kit conversion once you had done it. But my first experience therefore playing Empire Strikes Back anywhere was at home on my ZX Spectrum. Now, it was developed by Vector Graphics, and I mean, Star Wars, Empire and Jedi were all, well, the first two, Star Wars and Empire, were developed by Vector Graphics and released by Domark Software, on all the usual suspects, but obviously I'm only concerned about the Commodore and the Spectrum, because those were the two main competing machines back in the day when I was a kid at primary school. I don't know who handled the conversion of the third one, but that's an isometric one, so there you go. Now I have done gameplay comparisons of the original Star Wars across a whole heap of systems, including the arcade, but this is going to be a trim down because it's just a ZX Spectrum, Commodore 64 versus Spectrum, or Playground Wars video. But yeah, it follows the same path as the original game, a bunch of vector graphic stages that you rinse and repeat. Now, it got really, really good reviews back in the day. It came out in 1980. Oh, skip that. Came out in that's a very awkward picture of Luke. 1988. I think Star Wars was released in 1987. On these machines. But there you go. Right, let's get into it. Let's go with redefine keys. Now, obviously, would you have been? Oh, look at that. Well, no, I'm going to change it. O, P, up, down, fire, M. Oh, no, change, yes. I mean, would it have been disappointing to play Empire? Oh, balls that up, didn't I? Back in the day in 1985, because think about it, stuff like Space Harrier was out, wasn't it? So, oh, tow cable, we're definitely going to change that. So, I don't know, I would have loved to have played it in the arcades back in this, simply because I have such, right, left, right, up, down, fire, Z tow cable. Yeah, such a fond memories of the original Star Wars machine. Now obviously this is going to have it's going to not have sampled speech, I don't think, which is a shame, because obviously we're in 1 to 8 territory. It could have done it, but anyway, let's get into it. Right, 1-0 play game. Right, so obviously you collect Jedi top right, all the letters at various points to give yourself what, an extra life and a bonus. Shields is the number of times you can get shot, and yeah. You begin with enough force to protect you, 5 collisions, 4 strength is lost when you collect with enemy shots, walkers, and there you go. It is a dark time for the rebels. The Empire has launched thousands of robots, probots, thank you, in search of rebel hideout. The Empire fears to strengthen force within one rebel, Luke Skywalker. So it does a good job of, chopping the movie down into, well, flight stages, but there you go. So that's your point scoring system. Feel free to read it. I'm just going to wing it. But because that's what I do. Right, there we go. Skip. Right, we're going with easy, but see as you can, the arcade. Manual, hang on, let's see what that says. Oh, okay. But yeah, that's exactly the same difficulty selection screen as the arcade. Darth Vader's executor is approaching the rebel hideout. That's cool, mind. That is very cool. I mean, obviously it's vector, so you can see the stars behind it, but hey. Now, you may think that this, well, there you go. This is the manual, but it's going to show the enemies. So you would think because it's vector that this could, oh, we're about into it. It would be no problem to do it, but it's still quite intensive. Now I think there is some slowdown. I think graphically this is lovely. You've got to shoot the shit that pops out their head, because as you'll see, that bar beneath my shields, there you go, once nothing's on the screen, the slowdown disappears. But yeah, once 5 of their beams get away, then that's it. You're screwed. Well, you're not screwed, you move on to the next stage. Now I'm playing this on keys, and this seems to be really, really tight controls. There we go. Oh look, change colour. There you go, I got Jedi. Got the first letter. Because I'm a sexy Jedi bastard. So obviously I'm in a snow speeder, we're on Hoth. That kind of, you know, changed the progression of the movie. But yeah, you can tell I'm in a snow speeder. Now, for the purpose of this gameplay, there you go, one's got away. I might let them just, you know, radio in to their boss. Well, surely it only takes one, now they know I'm here. There you go, once again, once nothing's on the screen, it speeds up. So there is slowdown, but considering this is, you know, and it runs on a 48K machine, this is impressive. This is really, really impressive. Obviously, the Commodore is going to have more memory to play with. Now, there is a decent rendition of the Star Wars tune in the background, unlike Star Wars, which didn't have music. In fact, I think the 48K version didn't even have sound effects, but this version does have music. So I'm guessing that's the 128K version, so there you go. But when I say only 48K to play around with, obviously the difference between 48 and 128 is basically, well, it's memory, but it's basically better music because they've designed it to fit in a, there we go, into a 48K machine. But yeah, so I'm quite impressed. Yeah, there's slowdown, but it's pretty impressive. Right. Okay, so now it's walkers now. So you've got scout walkers or ATSTs, and then you've got AT-ATs. And you've got a limited number of tow cables, so you can either twat them in the face, which will destroy them. And see, this is you put yourself in Ickle Dave's mind back in '88. You could trap them in the face, which will destroy them, or you could tow cable their ass. I don't think I ever set it to manual when I was a kid to show you, you know, what you're up against. Now the timer on the left is going to show you how long I've got before they reach the base. There you go. Kind of underwhelming, but hey, that's like the arcade, because I do have a gameplay of the arcade version of this. What did I get? Did I get E? You didn't get E, Dave, because it's not the 90s. See what I did there? Yeah, I did. So obviously there's one bonus per stage. Let's go for a tow cable. And he's gone. Now it's like Star Wars, which is, it's quite interesting that, even though you're launching tow cables and stuff like that, and firing, the way you move your crosshair still gives you pretty decent control of the actual path of your craft. There we go. Sweet. Now I'm going to say this, I'm going to have to play it on joystick on the Commodore, and I can tell you now that's going to make a massive difference. Mainly because I grew up with keys. So keys to me are the bollocks. No, I missed this why it's bollocks, but the future. Can we go for his legs? Yes! I got a bonus for trick flying. And apparently, he's intangible. I'm a fucking amazing pilot. I'm out of tow cables. Oh shit, this is going to end in tears. No, apparently he likes it. Right, you can see the time is almost out. I believe the next stage is it the asteroid field? I don't know. But yeah, it basically follows, you know, the events, or the style set from the events of the first game. That hit me, bollocks. Obviously the way they fire the lasers and the stars you shoot the middle out of, then that's also, you know, pretty much the same vein as the first game. But hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Right, we're out of time. Are we out of time? No, it's got to get all the way to the right. Die, you fucking swollen dog bastard. Oh, do you... Oh, I've got more tow cables. Go on, I'm flying away. Did you get them back? I thought I'd run out. Must be a bonus thing. Do I get it for trick? Oh, no. How did I get behind him? He's retreating. Come on, see if I can... No. Am I behind him now? Oh, he's firing at me. He's firing from his ass. So you can actually change direction. Pretty cool. This is the asteroid field. never noticed the manual. Why did I never click on the manual before? In any gameplay I've ever done, I've never done it. Right, shoot TIE fighters. I forgot how great the music is. Right. Slow down. Like I said though, you know, this would have been amazeballs to me back in the day. This would have been, can you get the eye? I am on easy though, aren't I? Like, I would have just, this is the arcade. This is the arcade. Slow down the side, this is the arcade. There's his executor. Yeah, because that's going to do anything. I've got to try anyway, come on. Greatest thing about this arcade, which is why you can't replicate it at home, but what's great about this is it's no self-centering, because that always makes it really difficult without a yoke. But yeah, the yoke was the greatest thing about the arcade. It was absolutely amazeballs, that controller. This is it, the asteroid field. Basically big balls. Hey, wasn't there a shoe in the actual asteroid field scene? And there was something else, a shoe, and I don't know. Right, it's kind of just go to the complete extreme opposite direction as them is the way to avoid them. Again, it's easier in the arcade because of the yoke. I'm really quite impressed with the music. Listen to it. Oh, bollocks. Game over. Game over, man. Game over. That's pretty much it. That's the last final level, isn't it? I didn't realise my shields. Han Solo says what? But that's low. Right, I'm really impressed with that. Let's crack into the Commodore 64 version. So here we go with The Empire Strikes Back on the Commodore 64, also by Vector Graphics, and it's got a little bit of a description for the controls there. Joystick import too, as I said, not a direct comparison as such, or an unfair comparison, I should say, in the defense of Commodore, because I have to play it on joystick and I prefer playing on keys, and I think the controls are reversed, you know, like flight stick controls. Anyway, joystick import to space to fire tow cable. Oh, Jade switch up and down access. Well, no, I've tried it now, which you didn't see, and yeah, so I'm gonna have to keep with it. But yeah, you fire tow cable with the keyboard while you're using the joystick, which is going to be very, very awkward, and then run stop to pause, which I can't do because obviously I'm not playing this on a Commodore 64. I am playing it with a keyboard though. Right, let's get into it. So obviously also by Vector Graphics. It's a dark time for the rebels. Right, it's not as sharp as the Spectrum. It's got the SID chip, so the comparison music-wise, it's hands down it's going to go to the Commodore 64. You know, that's an absolute no-brainer there. Right, so there's your scoring system. That is great. I'll shut up so you can listen. I think I've got wood. Oh, definitely. Right, anyway, space. No, fire. Right, so we got manual. I'll have a look at the manual, to be fair. Right, hard. No bollocks to that. We're going to go with... Oh, wouldn't let me. Now, here's the thing. Okay, I could go with manual. It's smaller, the screen's smaller, and I'm quite surprised. I have played this before, but I forgot that if it's Vector Graphics, why is the Commodore not as straight and defined? How do you do lined vectors and still have chunky graphics? Because obviously the Spectrum was always sharper graphics than the Commodore. I'm not here to Star Wars, that's a fact. It was its high definition mode, which sounds stupid now, but obviously wasn't then. Now, I can tell you this is difficult on joystick. This is very difficult. As I said, we'll have to go through the game twice, just so we make sure we get all the levels. Yeah. Hey, yeah, this is very difficult on joystick. And it's got the same thing, the slowdown, everything goes off the screen and your slowdown disappears. But what I will say, there we go, is the slowdown. Let's try it. There we go. Slowdown is far more prevalent on the Commodore. Smaller screen, blocky graphics. Joystick's not its fault. Better music. Oh, and obviously I just realised maybe well, this back then that would seem to be a thing. You get sound effects, which you can argue are better than the Spectrum versions, but you don't get music at the same time. It's either one or the other. Obviously the screen layout's exactly the same, which you would expect it to be exactly the same because it's replicating the arcade game. I certainly would have been perfectly happy with this, but I don't know. Hey. Yeah, Fonz was a Jedi pilot, didn't you know? I'm Hoth. yeah, I can't get over the fact, how do you make straight lines blocky and chunky? That to me is really, really, you know, weird. And now obviously this is just, I'm going to be favoured to the Spectrum, but in this case I think I'm justified. But, there we go. Is that going to get him? But yeah, I don't understand. Even when you get, well, it's better when you get in close. It's, oh, you do the same thing. It's just at a distance. Well, there you go. At a distance, they're blocky or chunky. But just like I said, it's vector graphics. How do you make blocky vector graphics? Is that the display mode? Did he drop before I hit him? It seems a lot easier to hit with your toe cable. I'll say that. Sweet. Oh, I'm a death machine. Plus also the time seems to be counting down a lot slower. Ooh, get him. Shizen. Hey! One toe cable left. There you go. Yeah, time seems to be a lot slower, look. Well, now it's just sped up. Is it to do with how many toe cables? Oh, no, now it's just stopped. It's to do with the square bits. Single-handedly, I've just destroyed more, well, we used to call them AT-ATs, didn't we, as a kid, but that's incorrect, really, even though everyone does. But yeah, I've destroyed more AT-ATs than everyone did in Empire. I'm going to go for your legs again. You giant walking dog, you. I mean, I'm not disappointed with it. It's still impressive. I still would have been completely happy with this, you know, back in the day. But, yeah, I didn't realise. That's why I do these direct comparisons. I didn't realise it was chunky. Now, anyway, I lost my thought. I was going to say I'm obviously favoured to the Spectrum, but this isn't to start arguments and wars. And if you grew up with the Commodore, by all means, you're probably going to have greater memories. But, yeah, that's why I like to do these videos. So, yeah, so far I'm going to say Specky. Oh, I still got a toe cable. Yay! So they both suffer from slowdown. It's just more prevalent on the Commodore. It's not massively more, I will say that. I don't know. Could they? I mean, when you look at games like Star Strike 2, they don't suffer from slowdown, so is it lazy programming? Why is the executor already there? I don't know if it is in the arcade. Right. Now, obviously I didn't do the manual, I do apologise, but I do think when you do the manual you can't skip it, and I would have had to reset, so yeah. And the executor's moving off. This stage is definitely far better on the Spectrum. Definitely. Finally got my head around the inverts. That was the word I was looking for earlier on, inverted controls. Now we're in the Falcon. Oh. And avoiding them is even harder than it was, ooh, on the Spectrum version. Apparently not. Apparently the trick here is just to fly up. Yeah, there you go. That's what, that looks cool, mind. Granted, I didn't see it on the Spectrum. The trick apparently is to, there you go, I forgot that. That looks better on the Spectrum as well, although you haven't seen it. Again, it's a sharpness of and straightness of line, I guess is what I'm looking for, the difference between these two versions of the game. Anyway, there we have it. I'm going to round up quickly while I'm still alive on this level, but Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, on the Commodore 64 versus the ZX Spectrum. Commodore's got better music, but doesn't have music and sound at the same time in-game. Playing it on joystick, so, you know, if I was playing it on keys it would probably be a little bit better, but slowdown-wise, Spectrum's not quite, it's not massively different, but not quite as prevalent. And graphically, it is better. It is better, because from a distance the lines are sharper, cleaner, and straighter. But as always, you know, I don't mean to start fights, or maybe I do, Playground Wars. Love to know what you think, particularly if you had either or neither of these two versions. Anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later. I was going to say the 4th would be with you, but that would just be weak. Anyway, bye!